Hey guys, it's Scott with Scotty P Cards. In this video, I'm looking at the top 15 rookies from 2024 Topps Chrome. The checklist and the pre-order for 2024 Topps Chrome is here, and the rookie checklist is good. It's good, in my opinion. You might say it's not great, but it is good. All of these rookies, there's a lot of top 10 prospects, a lot of really young players, a lot of players who are injured, and while there might not be any big performers so far, I think this could end up having 2, 3, 4 great guys in the long run. That's the hope of this type of product. But in this video, we're going to look at the top 15 players. The way we're going to do this, I'm showing you Shota Imanaga right now, who is number 15. We're looking at 5 categories. The first one is age. Second is prospect ranking or international status for players like Shota Imanaga. The third is minor league or international stats. The fourth is major league stats. And the fifth is a new metric, hobby meter, meaning how excited and collected they are in the hobby. So in this particular example, Shota Imanaga, he is 30 years old, so he got 0 points. If he would have been 20 years old, he would have gotten 10 points. If he was 25, he would have gotten 5 points. International status, right? Like if it was prospect ranking, if he was a top 10 prospect, he'd have 10 points. Top 20 prospect, he'd have 8 points. Top 60 to have 4 points and so forth. But he's like a 6 on a scale of 1 to 10 how excited people were about him coming over from Japan. Minor league or international stats, he was amazing in Japan, so I gave him an 8. And his major league stats were amazing, he got a 10. He's also very collected and sought after because he's international plus on the cup, so you got 5. You round that all up and divide it by 5, you get 5.8 as his final score. So here's Imanaga, 2.6 WAR, 7 wins, 1 loss, 1.89 ERA, a whip below 1, more strikeouts than innings pitched. Just good. He's good. NL front runner right there. So that's number 15, Shota Imanaga. Only thing holding him back is his age. At number 14 is Jordan Lawler. Jordan Lawler has dealt with injuries for a long time, but he's still only 21 years old. His prospect ranking, if we actually look real quick, he is a number 10 according to Baseball America. Other publications have him as like number 11 and 14. On top of that, his minor league stats are good. His major league stats were a cup of coffee, and they were really bad. But here's Jordan Lawler right here, negative 0.2 WAR in the big leagues, negative 5 OPS plus, 335 OPS, no home runs, 129 batting average. Scroll down to his minor league stats, a lot better, 294 batting average with the 899 OPS, 37 home runs in 218 games. Came back for injury lately, and he actually has a 1.012 OPS. I would not be surprised if we see him soon in the big leagues. At number 13 is Gavin Williams, one of the best pitching players we've seen as a rookie so far this year. If we look at Gavin Williams, here he is. He has a 1.9 WAR, 3 wins, 5 losses, 3.29 ERA, 1.25 WHIP, which isn't great, but not horrible. 82 innings pitched, 81 strikeouts. He's been a good pitcher. He also, this is all pre-2023. He was in Series 1, so he did not get the 2024 prospect ranking, but he still was a top prospect, still counts, and he just turned 24 years old, so it says 7, should say 6, but either way, he is a top 15 player. That is Gavin Williams. Not super sought after in the hobby, so he has a 2 there. At number 12 is Pete Crow Armstrong. Pete Crow Armstrong is a center fielder who has played great defensively in center field. If he's going to be this good defensively in center field, he'll be around a long time, but his bat has been bad. He's just been bad offensively so far. So far, he has 0.8 WAR, but if we go look at his metrics right here, we'll actually see that 1 WAR is D WAR, defensive WAR, and his offensive WAR is actually negative at 0.1. Negative 0.1, I should say. OPS plus of 54, OPS of 543. He's only played in 39 games, 102 plate appearances, so it's not like he's had a ton of playing time, but either way, he's been good defensively, but we need to see him be better offensively. Still, minor league stats were good. He's still a top 11-ish prospect. Once his major league stats are better, he'll be more sought after. Hobby meter, I gave him a 2. At number 11 is Colton Cowser. Colton Cowser, I gave him a 3.5 hobby meter. His name is fun. It's Cowser. He gets mooed, not booed. He gets mooed like a cow when he gets called up to hit, and people dress up as cows because of him. So I think that there's going to be some hype around Colton Cowser. On top of that, he's been good lately offensively. He has 6.5 for his major league stats. Minor league stats are great. He actually is a top 40-ish prospect, and he's 24 years old, so a little bit older, but still a good ball player. Here's Colton Cowser, 1.2 WAR, 122 OPS plus, a 768 OPS. Major League Baseball, by the way, the league average OPS is below 700 right now. So 768 OPS is actually really good. 9 home runs in only 197 at-bats, and again, 34 overall prospect, 19 and 51 all over the place, but still, he has great minor league stats, 909 OPS, 298 batting average. That is Colton Cowser at number 11. At number 10, we have Mason Wynn. I've watched a lot lot of Mason Wynn because I watch Paul Goldschmidt at bats, and he's great offensively and defensively. Here he is, 2.5 WAR, probably one of the best players on this list, maybe the highest WAR of all players on this list, potentially. But Mason Wynn has 2.5 WAR, a 118 OPS plus with elite defense at shortstop. So he's a Cardinal. That helps his market. Cardinals love their players, and he has great patch cards when they come out. So he will be collected, in my opinion, and he throws the ball 100 miles an hour across the diamond from the shortstop position. It's a lot of fun to watch. He also had 8 for age because he's 22 years old, 6 because he's a top 40-ish prospect, okay minor league stats at 6.5, good big league stats at 7.5, and a 3 for excitement because people are starting to come around on Mason Wynn. At number 9 is Junior Caminero. He is 20 years old, top 10 prospect, like I think he's unanimous top 10 prospect. Minor league stats are good, and his major league stats are bad. That's just what it is. 2.5 for hobby meter. People aren't that excited about Junior Caminero right now. He's not playing that great right now at AAA, but he is only 20 years old. So if we actually look right here on age difference, we can see that he is about 6.6 years younger than the average AAA player. So he's actually having an 812 OPS, which is respectable, and a 261 batting average against players way older than him with 8 home runs. Granted, we want to see him get closer to this, where he was in 2023, where he had a 976 OPS with a 324 batting average and 31 home runs. Once he gets a little bit better, he'll get back to the big leagues, but that's why I gave him a 7 and not like an 8 or 9 for minor league stats. At number 8 is the first of many Jacksons on this list, Jackson Chourio. He signed a contract with the Milwaukee Brewers. He is 20 years old. And when I say he signed a contract, I mean like he signed like an extension, kind of like we see with what the Braves do with everybody. He did that with the Brewers. He was supposed to be the guy. He hasn't been the guy yet, but he is 20 years old. If we look at his stats real quick, we can scroll down and see he's actually 8.5 years younger than the average big leaguer at 20. So it just shows you how much younger he really is. But if we go back to this list, we're also going to see that his minor league stats were good. I gave him a 6.5. Maybe that was too low, but they weren't like amazing. And his big league stats have not translated yet. And there is excitement. His hobby meter is a 3.5 around Jackson Chourio because he did sign that extension. Brewers fans like him. So let's look at this again. We can see last year across a couple different levels, he had 22 home runs and 44 stolen bases with an 805 OPS. That's what the Brewers are hoping to get. And I think that will eventually translate. He's been better recently as well. At number 7, we have Evan Carter. Evan Carter had a lot of hype heading into this season, and we always said like, oh man, his floor is so high because he has a 400 on base last year. He was great in the World Series and in the postseason. Evan Carter's not been that good this year. His OBP is below 300 right now. His batting average is like a 188, which we'll look at in a moment, but he still is only 21 years old. He still is a top 10 prospect. He still has amazing minor league stats, and we saw him do it in the postseason, but his current big league stats like a 4.5 or a 5, and hobby meter was high, probably like a 3.5 to 4.5. It dropped to 3 lately out of 5 for a total of 6.7. Here is Evan Carter, 0.6 WAR, 188 batting average, OPS plus of 80. If we scroll down again, we can see his OBP is only a 272. So he walked 12 times in 23 games last year. He's walked 15 times in 45 games this year. Not great. I think he'll bounce back, but that is something to just watch a little bit, Evan Carter. At number 6 is Jason Dominguez. I gave him a 4 on the hobby meter because there's a really big chance if he comes up and does well again, like he did the first time he came before he had Tommy John surgery 8 games later, his cards could go crazy as a Yankee. Yankees fans will pay a lot for cards. There's a lot of Yankees fans out there. But here is Jason Dominguez. He had 8 hits in 8 games, 4 home runs, an OPS plus of 158, and an OPS of 980. If we scroll down, he's been great in AAA, AA, and single A this year coming back from injury with a 356 batting average, a 1.014 OPS, and 6 home runs in only 23 games. But I believe he's hurt again, unfortunately. We'll see what happens. But either way, I think his potential is really high as being a Yankees player with good upside. At number 5 is the second Jackson Merrill. He is 21 years old. He was a shortstop. His minor league stats are a 6.5, but he was a good defensive shortstop, which helped, his prospect ranking and his ceiling. He's now moved to the outfield as a big leaguer, and just like Tatis, who went from shortstop to right field and played good defensively, so has Jackson Merrill. Right now, he's actually a plus defender in, I believe, left field and center field. But here's Jackson Merrill's stats: 2 WAR, 108 OPS plus, so a plus offensive and defensive player, 7 home runs. He actually just took Mason Miller of the Oakland Athletics deep for a walk-off home run. I gave him a 3.5 for the hobby meter for that purpose. At number 4 is Jackson Holliday. He is the unanimous number 1 prospect according to all publications. So you might say he's too low, and that's okay, but I gave him a 10 for age because he's 20 years old, 10 for prospect ranking. He's number 1 overall. Minor league stats are really good with an 8, and I gave him a 5 out of 5 for hobby meter and collectability, but 2 for big leagues performance so far because he just hasn't been good in the big leagues yet. I think he's going to be good, but as of right now, he has negative 0.5 WAR, 0.059 batting average. He only has 2 hits and a negative 48 OPS plus. He's just not been good. He went back to the minor leagues. He's been better in AAA. with a 270 batting average and 898 OPS, 7 home runs in 50 games, but he's actually on the IL right now, unfortunately. So just be aware of that if you're buying his cards. His Fun Face SP has been like all the rage in the hobby, but he has been a little bit disappointing at the big league level. But again, he's only 20 years old. At number 3, I have Wyatt Langford. Speaking of players who've been a little bit disappointing this year, we have Wyatt Langford, 22 years old, top 10 prospect. Top 10, like minor league stats are amazing out of 10 there. Excited hobby meter, a 3.5 out of 5. Big league stats have been disappointing. Here he is 0.0 WAR, 1 home run, which was an inside the park home run. His OPS plus and OPS is going up at 77 right now. He's been a lot better lately. It was worse, but you can see he's a unanimous top 10 prospect. Look at his minor league stats from last year in 2023 across 4 different levels. He had 10 home runs, 360 batting average, a 1.157 OPS. It's like Barry Bonds level, but it hasn't translated quite yet. I think it will, but that is why Wyatt Langford is at number 3. At number 2 is Yoshinobu Yamamoto for the Dodgers. He is currently out with hurting his rotator cuff, which is not great for the most expensive pitcher in Major League Baseball history. 25 years old. 10 for prospect ranking international status, 10 for international stats because he won 3 MVPs in Japan, 7 major league stats. It could have been higher than 7, to be completely honest with you, with 1.4 WAR, 6 wins, 2.92 ERA, and a whip around 1. On top of that, he has 84 strikeouts, only 74 innings pitched. I can show his Japanese league stats real quick. In the MVP, 1.82 ERA with 70 wins and a couple MVPs. So pretty impressive. At number 1, we have Elly De La Cruz for the Cincinnati Reds. You might say that's not the right person, but realistically, he has a lot of tools, and he actually has played really well this year. Been in a slump lately, but he's had a good body of work so far. 22 years old, top 10 prospect. Minor league stats are amazing we can look at. Big league stats are good at 6. I think it could be higher. I think I have some recency bias with how he's been lately, but if you look at his actual stats, they're really good, and the hobby meter is a 5 out of 5. He is hyped up and sought after. Here is Elly De La Cruz, 2.1 WAR, 121 OPS plus, 12 home runs, 37 stolen bases, which leads Major League Baseball, with positive defense, I believe. Yeah, actual 0.1 defense, which is good for him. Minor league stats, if you want to look at those really, really fast, a 908 OPS, 298 batting average with 49 home runs. If we look at his AAA in Louisville last year, he had a 1.031, 298 batting average with 12 home runs. So Elly De La Cruz, he is still the number 1 guy to chase, in my opinion. Obviously, just being in the top 15 is important for collectability. I'm not saying like this is exact, but I think all of these are the best players to target in 2024 Topps Chrome. Let me know who you think I missed. I know there's players on here that I did not include that you might like. That's just because they didn't rate out. These are the guys that I personally would target. Let me know in the comments down below what you're looking for in 2024 Topps Chrome, and we'll see you